Hey guys, how you doing? This is Oscar with Operation Warrior Athlete. I want to start this video out by thanking all those individuals that were able to watch the video, share it, and comment on it. As well, all those individuals that sent questions in. One of the things that I want to tell you through this series of videos is, number one, I want to be humble and say that I am not a duty expert when it comes to the journey of a veteran. All I have for myself, the journey that I'm enduring post serving in the military for 16 years. My objective here is not to point a finger at anyone, pretty much just to share my experience, things that I've done, and maybe give someone the hope that things will get better, and give all those an understanding what a veteran community may be going through so they can support them and give a helping hand. But along with that, it plays both ways for my loving veterans. It's not about the community reaching out to you. It goes the other way too, being able to reach out to the community when you're in time of need of help. Okay, so what I want to name this series of videos for the next few weeks, it's going to be called Coping with the New Normal. And we'll go through different things, different stages of what our veterans are coping with. And when we talk about coping with the new normal, it really relates to all of us in this world. For example, a police officer serving 25 years in a department, having a routine 12-hour shifts and going to bed, all right, doing it all over again. A teacher teaching for 30 years in a school system, retiring. That's another significant event in his or her life. The new normal of no longer going to the school system and serving those kids for 8 hours. What are they going to do with that time gap that they have free? How are they going to find ways to value themselves? Because teaching and being a cop are two valuable jobs in this world. So that applies to our veterans community, those who serve 4 years, 8 years, 12, 16, and 25. God bless all those individuals that have done that. But, not getting up at 5 o'clock anymore in the morning, not sitting there with a gun, not going on patrols, things like that. How do we cope with the new normal that I'm going to have a pair of tennis shoes on, I'm going to have a t-shirt on, and I'm going to go out and cut the grass? And what value do I find on that? And that's the hardest point that I had in my recovery, in my journey here from serving in the military. Okay, what I want to talk to you in this segment is about just PTSD. What is PTSD? Post-traumatic stress disorder. And definition, it's a mental health condition triggered by terrifying events. Okay, what does that mean? Pretty much. Okay, just an individual that encounters something horrific, something that is out normal. Okay, driving to getting outside, getting your mail, that's normal. Driving to the store and picking up milk, that's normal. What is not normal is going to get milk and being in a car accident. That doesn't happen every day. So if we translate that to the military, being in a war zone and doing all the things that we had to do, so there's just different ways to talk about what is terrifying. One of the things I want to tell you is that everyone is different. What I encounter driving and picking up that milk and getting in a car accident may not be the same as someone doing the same, and they may not view it the same. It's really an emotional aspect of how you manage that and how you handle that. And it's the same way for a veterans community. If everyone went down range, it's how they perceive the situation, what they endure, and emotionally and mentally, how prepared they are to manage the situation. In most cases, we're not. We're there for 6-9 months, and we return home. I know for the reservist component, you come home, you spend maybe a month in the drill center, unpacking, doing things, and you get sent back to college, back to mom and dad, the girlfriend, wife, and kids. For the active duty component, I've been part of that as well. We are lucky enough to have a 30-man platoon, a battalion, and individuals that are enduring the same pain with us. In some scenarios, that makes it even tougher because we want to be tough in front of other individuals and show that we're not suffering. So, what I want to change in this conversation is PTSD to PTS, post-traumatic stress. Okay, that's the new meaning we're trying to move towards. It's no longer a disorder. PTS has been around for ages. World War I, World War II, Korean, Vietnam, all those veterans, they had and they encountered PTS. It's just today we live in a very lucky society that we're out there. We're out there. We know these things are happening, and the post 9/11s veterans were. We were so lucky that the community begin to understand and see these things. And when I say understand, is that they knew that we had some issues. I'm not saying that they understand PTSD, and that goes for the veterans community. I didn't know what was PTSD, and if you looked back in my college career in 2003 to 2005, I thought drinking and partying and getting into fights was a college life and a college environment. But the reality is I had a lot of anger in me. So with that said, some of the symptoms with PTSD are the following. Flashbacks. What is flashbacks? Anything that will get you in a set mode of things that you encounter out there. One of the things that I had in college was the breaking of a tree branch, and I snapping in half. I would drop to a knee, and pretty much I was still in the mode that somebody was shooting or a round went down range. Okay, avoidance, just having those conversations with individuals of what you're feeling and what went out there. Okay, hypervigilance. Sorry, I don't. These words are so big for me. Okay, it's pretty much always being on the lookout for things to happen. Okay, it's pretty much a 911 reflection of fire flag effect, what we call the nightmares. Just remembering those dreams when we go to bed of things that you endure out there. The insomnia. A lot of the things that I had insomnia from was pretty much we had different schedules out there. Hours, sometimes we'll go for 4 hours patrol, 8 hours patrol, and sometimes we went for a 12-hour patrol. Sometimes we didn't get no sleep. Sometimes we got plenty of sleep. So that really messes up with your routine, okay? The depression that I talked a little bit about last week, mine was mostly not being able to understand what I was going through and why would things happen to me? Why was I reacting to things? So it created an environment where I got depressed, and then it created the anger of not knowing what was going on. So one of the questions is, how do I understand PTSD? And this was from a parent. I'm going to be straight up honest with you, and this is going to sound very raw. The first step is it is okay to understand that you don't understand it. Here's why. Okay, you don't wake up every day with the knowledge of knowing that someone has PTSD next to you. I know my wife does. We live together, but she has first-hand knowledge. Some people don't. Okay, some people may not encounter someone with PTS. Okay, so understand that it's okay not to understand it. You can be more informative. You can Google things. You can go to a local VA and find these things out all over the internet. So that's one of the things that I need you to know, that it's okay not to understand it. But it's really up to us to seek that help to understand what it means. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a list of links of places you can go to learn more about PTS, all right? Why is it okay for you not to understand it? Very simple, all right? I say very simple today, but 4 or 5 years ago, I wouldn't be saying this. You were not there, okay? You don't know exactly the details and the steps that got an individual to have PTSD or come back home and have PTS, okay? So understand that you were not there, and that's out of your control. And one of the biggest thing here is we need you to understand, the public to understand, that it is really okay to tell that individual, I'm here when you're ready. Because this is the biggest part of PTS and being part of this society, is the veteran has to be ready or prepared to talk. Listen, I went 8-9 years without talking about it and bouncing back and forth from the VA. So I wasn't ready. I really engaged that conversation. What was going on with me? Everybody could have said to me, I'm here for you. I don't understand what you're going through. But it was really up to me to have this conversation. And unless you have been there and you have the trust and the confidence of that individual that you're talking to, that individual is not going to come out and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. So what I'm going to leave you with that, okay? Remember, it's okay not to understand. You're not there. Allow the veteran to come out and step out when he or she is ready. And remember, some veterans will probably never be ready at times, or it's going to be a journey. Like I said, it took me 8 to 9 years to come out and talk about these things, jumping from hospital to hospital. Okay, and the biggest thing I will leave you out there with: remember that we hope that the veteran takes the first step into having those conversations. Anything else, if you have an emergency, you see someone is really struggling, just call the veteran suicide line, or you know, pretty much insert yourself in that conversation right away. Let them know that you want to be there when they're ready, but keep an eye on them. So next week, what I'm going to talk about is how PTS impacted my life. Either with flashback, depression, anger, anxieties, nightmares, and all that. Once again, that's going to be part 2 of coping with my new normal. How I was able to cope with that new normal. Once again, thank you for watching, and thank you everybody for sharing my video. I hope I was able to answer some questions here or let you know a little bit about PTSD. Once again, this is just an informative video of the things that I'm enduring as a warrior, not a clinical diagnosis, because I'm not a duty expert. I'm just a humble servant of the things that I endure. You guys take care.